Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. In this video I'm going to teach you how to do this sleeveless cardigan. It's really easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try. And here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get a notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel. You'll find the English version in there. Also, I have some playlists. One of them is Ruby Stedman English tutorial, and I have all my English video in there. For the measurement of the front pieces, you're gonna do the chain from the width of the arm in here until the beginning of your neck. And this side, that's the width of the chain that you're gonna do for the two pieces for the front. I have these pockets. I pinned them because I was thinking not to sew them on my cardigan, but I like it with the pockets, so I need to sew them. So it's a really nice piece. To make this cardigan, this is the yarn I'm gonna use, Lion brand, Pound of Love. Is 100% premium acrylic, 932 meters. It's medium 4, and they recommend a J10 or 6mm crochet hook. That's what I'm gonna use, a 6mm crochet hook. The color is claret, and you're gonna need tapestry needle and scissors, and it's an absolutely gorgeous color. We're gonna start with the chain, and you have to do two pieces exactly the same for the front. For mine, it's like a medium size, so with 37 chain plus 3, I'm gonna do 40 is enough for this size. So depending on the size that you're making, you will do more or less chains. So you have to measure from your shoulder, you know, for the armpit, to the other side of your neck because of the overlap of the two pieces in the front. So you have to measure that in your body or in the person that you're making this for. So like I mentioned, with 37 plus 3 for mine is enough. I started first with more and it was too much, and so I had to frog and do less chains. So you have to measure this depending on the size of the person that you're making this for. So once I have my 37 chains plus 3, 40 chains, I will meet you here. Once you have the chain, you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and at number 5 you're gonna do your double crochet, and you're gonna do a double crochet on each chain space. Since I did 37 plus 3, I'm gonna have 37 double crochet, counting that chain 3 as the first one. This is a very easy piece to do, so you don't want to need a lot of instruction how to do it. You'll see. So you're going to continue working double crochet until the end. Once you finish your first row, we're going to start with a double crochet and instead of chain 3, because that will give you a better border and don't give you that little hole in between the chain and the first double crochet. So you're gonna pull and elongate that loop. You're gonna turn your work around. You have two ways to do it. You can pass it through that top of the double crochet and bring out a loop, a smaller loop, leave the loop there, and then wrap around the longer loop, pass it through that smaller loop. Wait a second, this one wasn't long enough. Okay, you hold it in place, wrap, pass it through the loop, and then you do your double crochet. That's one way to do it. The other way is once you have the elongated double crochet, you're going to wrap around that loop, always holding the strand in the back like that, you see, because if you don't do that, that will just move to the front and you don't want to have a yarn over. And then you pass on top of the double crochet, pull out, you have 3 loops, pass it through 2, and pass it through 2, like that. So whichever way you like, you can do it. I find that the first way will give you a better double crochet this way. It's just me. Give a bit double crochet in the top. So like that, you're gonna continue working a double crochet on top of each double crochet until the end of this row, and that will give you a better border for your piece. Once you finish the second row, you're gonna do exactly the same as you did in the second one. To start with, you're gonna elongate that stitch, you're gonna turn your work around, you're gonna do the first one whichever way you find easier for you, either wrapping or pulling out the loop. So you're gonna do this and continue with the double crochet on top of each double crochet. At the beginning, if you've never done this, it will be a little bit more fiddly, but once you get going, you will love working all your pieces like that, because you don't get that hole in here that you get when you do a chain 3. Like for example, in here that I start with a chain of 3, you see the separation in between these two stitches are bigger than in between these two. Okay, so it will give you a better finish to your piece, especially to the borders. So I'm gonna continue working, and you're gonna work the desired length. Now if you want yours with pockets, you will have to do yours a little bit longer, that way you can do the 2 pockets, one in each side. If you don't want any pocket, and then you can do it shorter, longer. It's up to you, the length that you wanted to give to your piece. So I'm gonna work on mine, and I will finish this part for the length. Now I'm gonna separate the shoulder. So I did 38 rows, and that is 21 inches 53 centimeters, and the width is 11 inches 18 centimeters. Remember, like I mentioned, this is done to your measurement, so you have to measure yourself, that way it'll fit you. Okay, this one is a medium, so depending on the size you're making, you'll do your piece for the front. The same for the length. If you want to do some pockets in the front, you have to make them a little bit longer, and if you are not doing any pockets like mine, you just do it the length that you want. Okay, so now I'm gonna work in here 14 double crochet, and 15 and 16 I gotta do them together to decrease one stitch and then make this a little bit more round. And this part depends as well how many stitches you did for yours. If you did more, and then probably you have to do a little bit more in here. You have to measure this in yourself, put it in front of you, and decide the width of your shoulder by measuring around yours and the base of your neck, because remember, this will overlap in the front a little bit. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. So I'm gonna start again like I've been doing so far for the beginning with a double crochet, and I'm gonna work 14 double crochet, and when I get to 15 and 16 I will meet you here. Here I have my 14 double crochet. Now I'm gonna do 15, and I don't gonna finish. I had 2 loops, and then over 16 I had 3 loops. I'm gonna close those 3 loops. I'm gonna turn my work around. I'm gonna elongate again my loop, do a wrap, and you're gonna go under all these strands at the base here, that way you don't leave a hole, only leaving one strand underneath, and you're gonna do your double crochet. And now you're gonna do a double crochet on top of each double crochet, and you'll have 15. So you're gonna work this until you have the desired length for yours. I already done one, this one, and you see by decreasing that stitch it's a little more round in this part, and I work for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So you're gonna do the same in yours. When you create the two of them, you have to create them the same. So I'm gonna work those 5 rows. Once you finish, you're gonna chain 1. You're gonna cut your yarn, leaving a tail to sew the shoulder. Once you finish the first one, you're gonna do the second one exactly the same. I already have the second one here, and you see this is where you're gonna overlap in the front. So depend on the size that you're making, you can do a full overlap of all the stitches, or you can do it like this with less, leaving this a little bit more open, depending on the size you're making. So this is what I will give that open in the front. So now I'm gonna for the back I have a chain of 53. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and at number 5 I'm gonna do a double crochet. So in total I will have 50 double crochet. So I'm gonna work those 50 double crochet exactly the same as I did for the front, but instead of doing 38 row, I will do 42 for the back, and I will show you why I'm gonna do more for the back. This part you have to measure on yourself from one side where the arm opening go to the other one. If you do too wide, it will be too big and loose in the back, and if you do too little, it will be pulling to the back. So you have to measure this right. So I'm doing 42 for the back because in the front we did a little bit lower the collar. So I did 38 row, and then I did 5 for the shoulder. So for the back, what we're gonna do is you're gonna continue 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and then in 43 you're gonna do just that little piece in one row on each side, and then the back will be for the open of the neck a little bit lower, but not as low as the front. And I will show you once I have done a couple of rows, I will show you how I'm going to measure this and here. That way you'll see that I have the right amount of stitches for the back with the overlap. I'll show you that way you see that the width for the back is perfect for the front. Once you do this here, you see, pretending that this is already done, the back, and then you do the overlap here in the front, and that will be the perfect size, you see, for the back and the front. So you can do a little piece, measure to see if you have the right size, and then you can continue. So I'm gonna work for my 42 rows, and I will meet you here. Here I have my 42 rows. Now in 43 I'm gonna work 14 double crochet. 15 and 16 I will do them together. I will cut the yarn and then go to the other side and do exactly the same. I will work 14 stitches and 15 and 16 in the center for the part of the collar or neck. I will do them together, and then what we have to do is sew the piece together. Once you finish, it will look like this, the back. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna sew this shoulder to the back shoulder and here, and then we're gonna do the same to the other side. You're gonna sew the shoulders here. After that, you're gonna leave the opening for the arm, and then you're gonna sew the side and the same on the other side. So if you want this with a sleeve, you can do it with a sleeve, or you can leave it without sleeve. Mine I'm gonna do it without, but it's up to you if you want it with or without. Okay, so let's sew these 4 parts, the 2 shoulder and the 2 side, and then we'll work in the part at the front. The same way that you do the design of this, you see, like I show you, it look perfect. You don't see a seam, and look how nice and round this part of the collar look. You're gonna do the other side and end here, okay, the same way that I did the sewing. You're gonna even them up in the lower part, and then you're gonna measure the opening that you want for your arm. Mine will be around 18 centimeters. You have to measure in yourself. I'm gonna put a safety pin on each side, and then I will know the size that I need for the opening. If you're gonna do a sleeve, you do a sleeve, and if you don't remember, you'll put this on with a little long sleeve underneath, so you'll have to leave enough space for that. You don't want this too tight around the arm, okay? So I'm gonna sew mine, and then we'll work. Once you finish sewing the side, it will look like this, and the side. So exactly the same as the shoulder. The only thing to sew the side, you have to cut a piece of yarn to do it, because you don't have that extra tail to do it. So, and here you have to figure out, you try the overlap that you want to do. For mine, it has to be all the way from one side to the other one, to here to the first row of the shoulder, the separation from the collar to the shoulder. That is where mine go. So what I'm gonna do, let me see, I had to, oh, here. to pin, safety pin, so I'm gonna pin in here, one on each side. That way when I start working the color, don't move. So I'm gonna place it there, and in the other side as well, to secure them. And from the back I'm gonna start with one row of double crochet all the way around, making sure that I have multiples too, because in the second round I'm gonna work front post and back post. So that's what we're gonna do now in here, and that will be my overlap for the piece. So once you finish, you're gonna turn your piece around and you're gonna fold it like this to figure out the center one. You grab the center and you're gonna do a slip knot. I'm gonna pass it through here, and I'm gonna do a chain one, and that way I can do my double crochet. Okay, I tied that one in here, so I'm gonna elongate this and I'm gonna zoom in, that way you can see a little bit better. Loop, wrap, and do the double crochet, and I'm gonna do a double crochet and each space all the way around. And I had to make sure that, like I mentioned, that they are multiple of 2, that way we can do front post, back post. So I'm gonna continue doing this, and when I get to the front, to the first safety pin, I will meet you here when I get to this one. So you have to do the same all the way around the border, making sure that you don't leave a gap in between them, especially these ones, they are sideways. And these stitches here, these double crochet that they are on the side, I make 2 double crochet for each one. That way I don't get a gap too big in between. Like this. Okay. You see, for each one I make 2. So when I get to the pin, once you get here, you'll remove your pin, and you're gonna pass it through the first double crochet, and you go to the piece in the back and you pass it through. Oops, I forgot the yarn over for the double crochet. And making sure you pass it right through, and you're gonna do a double crochet, yarn over, go to the next double crochet, and go to the double crochet in the back, and you're gonna pass it through and do a double crochet, yarn over, go to the front double crochet, find the next double crochet in the back, and do your double crochet. And like that you're gonna continue working the front and back together, making sure that you grab the stitch in the back at the same time as the front, like this. And then you're gonna work all the way. You remove the second pin and go all the way around to the back. Before you close the back, make sure that you count and you have multiple of 2, just in case you need to add one more stitch or remove one, just in case you have an extra one. Okay, so look in here, and I'm working in the other end. I've removed the pin, I did the last double crochet. Now I'm working in the sideways double crochet, making the same amount of double crochet. I will get to the end, I will close the first round, and I will meet you here to start the second one. In total I have 68 stitches. I'm gonna pull these, I'm gonna come to the top of the first one, and if you don't see the video and how to do this work that I'm doing now, working and closing this like invisible work, I'm gonna leave the link here. I already done the video. You're gonna see an eye, click on that, I'll bring you to the one that I do the work in the round with this type of double crochet without any chain to start with. It will be done in a lighter color yarn and you can see much better. So you elongate your stitch, you wrap again and go to the same space, and you're gonna pull your yarn, pass it through 2 and 2, and then that one will count as the back post, and then you go to the next one and do a front post. And I'm gonna zoom in, that way you guys can see better. I will do this and I will show you a little bit closer. So we're gonna pull that one, you're gonna go insert your hook on top of that double crochet, you grab that loop with the hook facing to the left, you're gonna pull it to the back and you're gonna pull. It is easier when you work on the round to leave that loop in here and go back again and pull a smaller loop to the front, you see, and then you wrap in this one and you have already the loop, that way you don't have to pull it through that stitch, and then you do your double crochet. And that is the first one on top of this one. So you go to the next one and you do a front post double crochet, and yarn over, you go to the next one and you do a back post double crochet. You come to this one and front post, you see, passing the hook under the stitch, you do a double crochet, yarn over, and then you go through the back over the stitch and do a double crochet. And that's why you need multiples 2, that way you have even work. So you'll end up with a front post double crochet and a slip stitch backwards on top of this one, exactly the same as I show you now. I'm going to finish the last one as the front post. Again, I'm going to elongate here, lose that top of that double crochet, go from the back to the front, hook that loop, pass it to the back, like so, leave that one there, go back again, pull a smaller loop, and this one do a yarn over, pass it through that loop, do your double crochet, and the front post you're gonna do front post, and the back post you're gonna do back post, and like that you're gonna continue working until you have the desired length for your color. You can do your color double to fold it down, or just to have one together, or just one short one. It's up to you what you want to do for this. So after I finish here, I will let you know how many rounds I did. 9 rounds for my color. So the first one was that round to pick all this double crochet, and I finished here at the top. I chain 1, cut the yarn, and I'm gonna lose that tail. Now if you want to do pockets for yours, so for mine I will show you how to do the pockets. I'm gonna do 2 pockets and everything, but I don't think I'm gonna show it on mine. I have a little fluff in there. So I use another yarn for 2 row as well for one of the pockets. That way you can see it with an accent color in the border. So once you lose all that, it will look much better. So like so. So what I did, I chained 20 plus 3 to turn my work around, and I worked for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 row plus 2 with the other yarn. The other yarn that I used for the top was this Barcelona. They have the same thickness, and some of the yarn here is the same color as this one. So that's what I did for those 2 rows. It's up to you if you want to do an accent color, or you can do your pockets, the whole thing with one color. So I just want to do the 2 of them, put them with pins. That way you can see what I look like with pockets, okay, when I put it in my mannequin. But for mine, I don't want to do pockets. So like I mentioned, I did 20 plus 3 for 9 row, and I have 4 the width of 4-finger in this side and the width of 4-finger in this side. So you have to do yours depend on the size that you made your piece in the front, because if it's wider you don't want to have a tiny little pocket in the front. You have to do it around you know, measuring like that on each side. That way it'll look a little bit more even. Okay, so I will do the other one and I'll show you what it look like with the two of them and all will be done. I already worked my 20 stitches of double crochet for 7 rows, and now I'm going to show you how I'm going to change to the other color. This is optional, like I mentioned. You can continue and do your 9 row or 10 row, 11 row with the same color that you did your piece. I pinned this pocket. I don't even put any underneath here. I just, this one is just in case I decided to wear one sometime with pockets, sometime without it. But first without it, and because once I saw the pocket, that's it. I had to leave the pockets on. And the second one, you know, this is a little uneven here, but with the sewing, you will even them up as you sew them, okay? So you have to mark exactly the same distance and the height from the lower part. You put the first one and then you guide from the first one. The second one I left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 is where I have this one. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. They will go this one, and around 4-finger for one side, 4-finger for the other one, and that will be even. Bear in mind, I'm gonna pin them. So you have to even this in the side here with the sewing. So that's why I left the tails, just in case I decided to do the pockets anyway. And sew them on. So you even them up. And you sew your pockets. So I'm going to pin this one. And I'm going to lose the tail around the neck. And I will show you the end result. Well, this is the end result. And I absolutely love this sleeveless cardigan. And I decided that I'm going to sew the pockets because I love them. I love the combination of the two colors with a little bit of border. It looks really nice. And I hope you guys like it. And give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed and you make this sleeveless cardigan and you want to send me some picture. You can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Net Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family. That way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.